Good evening. We'd like to welcome you to tonight's webinar on earning post-secondary credits in high school or earning college credits while still in high school. I'm Jack Anderson. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Ed for the district. This webinar is part of a series called Get to Know Kennewick Schools. This is our fourth webinar for the school year, and we're hosting these monthly sessions to inform our community about the different ways that we are supporting student success. We have added translation and interpretive services to tonight's webinar, and we want to welcome our families who speak Spanish and Arabic. We also want to thank our interpreters, Angela and Nazreen. There will be time for questions at the end of the presentation. You may enter your questions in the chat feature on the Zoom, and for those of you who speak Spanish or Arabic, your interpreter will translate those questions for you and will then send it to our moderator. If you have questions for us on topics other than earning college credits while in high school, we encourage you to email us and we will respond. So tonight I'd like to introduce our moderator. She is Miss Robin Chastain. She's the Executive Director of Communications and Community Ed. At the end of the presentation, Robin will read the questions that you've submitted to the presenters. And then depending on if the question relates to AP or IB or CTE or any of the topics we're going to talk about, that presenter will answer your question. I'd also like to introduce the presenters for tonight's program. Talking about dual credits in the Career and Technical Education, CTE, will be CTE Director Tricia Anderson and Assistant Director Abby Matson. TriTech Director Paul Randall will be talking about the dual credits that you can earn while attending TriTech. Presenting information on the International Baccalaureate program at Kennewick High is Kennewick High School Principal, Mr. Ron King. Mr. King will also talk about the Running Start programs offered at CBC and WSU Tri-Cities. Talking about the Advanced Placement Program, AP, offered at both Southridge and Kamiakin is Kamiakin Principal Chris Chillen. And Southridge Principal Molly Hamburger-Teals will be talking about college and the high school that is offered at Kennewick High and Southridge. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. So as you can see on the screen, we'll be talking about the CTE dual language that's offered at all three of our comprehensive high schools and TriTech, the International Baccalaureate program that's offered at Kennewick High, the Advanced Placement program that's offered at both Kamiakin and Southridge, college and the high school. Those are two programs offered at Kennewick High and Southridge, and also then the Running Start program. What are the benefits of earning college credits or post-secondary credits while your student is still in high school? Well, first of all, most of the credits that are offered are free, or they're very, very low cost to the parent. You're getting quite a deal and you're earning college credits. Your student is getting experience with college level curriculum, and the credits that are earned are transferable to most in-state colleges and institutions. So there is quite a benefit. And the big benefit, of course, is you're picking up college credits at a significantly reduced cost. So with that, I'd like to introduce Miss Abby Matson, who will cover the first couple slides in our presentation.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to talk a little bit about what exactly CTE dual credit is. For those of you that don't know, CTE stands for Career and Technical Education. And our programs offer dual credit courses. So we have some high school courses that you earn high school credit for, and at the same time, you can also earn college credit for. It used to be called Tech Prep. About 2-3 years ago, that changed. We call it CTE dual credit now. So just they're the same thing if you hear the old term used. And basically what happens is we look through our courses and we talk with professors and representatives from local community college. And we work on aligning our curriculum with what those colleges are offering, and we make sure that our content is to their standard. And once we come to an agreement with their professors and it's accepted, then we can go ahead and offer the college credit for our high school CTE courses. And that streamlines things with planning courses and pathways and that for graduation and beyond. And we have CTE dual credit offered here at KSD, at Kamiakin, Kennewick, Southridge, Legacy, and all at TriTech. Next slide. So we have 6 areas, program areas in CTE. They all have different courses that have different pathways, but those 6 programs are agriculture, business and marketing, family and consumer sciences, health sciences, skilled and technical science, and our STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. So our courses all fall under those 6 categories. And our director, Trisha Anderson, is going to talk about this slide.
Thank you, Abby. Good evening, everyone. The programs in front of you are agriculture, business and marketing, family and consumer science, health science, skilled and technical science, and STEM. Under each of those program areas are the courses that we offer dual credit in. If you're curious about dual credit, I suggest you go to your host school or your student school website, and under CTE dual credit, you will be able to find what courses are offered. Jack, could you go to the next slide, please? So in front of you is Kamiakin High School. So the courses listed on the right side. Next to them, they'll have the college course, what the college course is called, and what articulation is with which college. Most of our articulations are with Columbia Basin College. And then of course, in the last column, it'll tell you how many credits each course is worth. Next slide, please. This is what Kennewick High School offers. Next slide, please, Jack. And here is Southridge. You'll notice that the schools, some of them offer a little bit different courses, but we try to keep all the courses the same through our comprehensive high schools. And next slide, please. And this is Legacy High School and what they have to offer. Every year, Abby and I sit down and we talk about dual credit and opportunities for students. We research course opportunities to articulate with colleges so that we can offer our high school students CTE dual credit in every high school. And now I will introduce Paul Randall. Paul is the Director of TriTech Skills Center.
All right, thank you very much, Tricia. All right. What you see before you is just a sample of programs that are offering college credit through TriTech. As of today, 75% of the programs have a college credit option, and all of our programs have what is called an industry recognized certification. So as you look through these different programs, just like in the comprehensive high schools, you'll see the program. And I didn't put the college credit correlated class in here, but this is just a sample. If you look at pre-nursing, that students who successfully earn 85% in that course will earn 8 college credits at CBC, which puts them that much more further ahead in their RN degree. Not only those 8 lab credits for the certified nursing assistant exam, but also 5 credits in medical terminology, which is very key because that is a entrance level course for students getting into healthcare. You can see cybersecurity, pre-vet tech. We connect with Yakima Valley Community College, our culinary arts with Walla Walla Community College. And so these are just a few of those 75% of the programs. Next slide, please. This is a little 3-year snapshot. And the thing to take away here is you can see that a good number of students, 247, 176. Last year was a little bit different with COVID at 142, a little bit less. But on average, TriTech students earns between 7 and 9 college credits per year. Savings, tuition savings, you can see in that last column. anywhere from $900 to $1,000 for each student. Next slide. If we take a little bit longer view at it, you can see there's almost 2,000 students who've earned almost 27,000 college credits. And because we have a longer view of it, they've earned up to 15 college credits per student, saving about $2,000. So that's pretty significant when you take it a little larger view of it. Next slide. Now, we've started and participated with the, as Abby mentioned, Tech Prep or CTE dual credit for almost 20 years now. And students have earned over 50,000 college credits, $5.4 million in tuitions saved. Now, that's just tuition. Think about the books, the fees that didn't have to be paid either. And so it's pretty powerful when a student has a goal, sees where their careers taking them, and if they're ready, they can start that college or that post-secondary path earlier through CTE dual credit. So, and that is my part of the presentation. So it looks like we're ready for International Baccalaureate.
Yes, and if you do have any questions for our CTE TriTech, please make sure that you enter them into the chat feature on the Zoom. And those questions will be read by Ms. Chastain at the end of the presentation. So our next presenter from Kennewick High School is Mr. Ron King, who will talk about the International Baccalaureate program.
All right, thank you guys for joining us tonight. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about the IB program, International Baccalaureate. I'm also going to be speaking on Running Start, so you guys get to hear me twice. Lucky you. So anyways, let me jump right into the IB program. So number one is, what is IB? And the IB program really is a rigorous college prep program. It is also a dual credit program because students who complete certain exams in the IB courses can earn college credit, which I'll touch on here in a minute. A little background about IB. It was really established by the international community in the 1960s when well-educated diplomats in the foreign service of their country were posted to stations around the world, and they wanted their kids to be prepared and able to get into the better universities back in their home country. And so the IB program was designed to kind of an international level of high standard to get into the best colleges in the world. There are a lot of IB schools in the world, including in the United States. It is not as prevalent as AP, and that's especially true in public schools, where IB tends to be a little bit more prominent in private schools. Next slide, please. And back to the private school thing, I do tell our kids in the IB program that you can find some private schools where it's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars a year to go to, and you can have the same courses with the same training that their teachers had here at Kennewick High for free. So it's a smoking good deal for a good college prep program. So what is the diploma program? So it gets a little confusing, and so I'm going to encourage anyone who is interested in learning more about IB to contact us, contact me, or to go to the Kennewick High School website to directly access information about IB and how to get a hold of us, because it does get a little complicated, and I'm giving you the condensed version. So the IB program, diploma program, is designed as an academically challenging and balanced program of education with final exams that prepare students normally aged 16 to 19. So that's more in the international age level. Our students are juniors and seniors for success at university and life beyond. So the diploma itself consists of 4 areas. There's curriculum, which there is an IB curriculum that the school district approves, but it is the IB curriculum. Student assessments, so there are exams that students must take and pass. Professional development, our teachers are required to attend some pretty rigorous training. And then as a school, we are also an authorized IB school, which means that we go through a really in-depth assessment, and they really make us jump through a lot of hoops to make sure that we're complying with all the IB requirements. One thing that's interesting about IB is that our teachers are actually graded by IB on how they grade our students. So a teacher may grade an exam of a student, and then we will send that sample to the IB people, and then they will grade the teacher on how well they assess the students. Next slide, please. So at Kennewick High School, we have two options for IB. In orange here, you can see the full diploma option, which students will test in 6 areas, which I'll touch on in a minute, and they also need to complete 3 core requirements. The benefit of that is students are awarded college credit for a lot of schools, especially in the state of Washington, for earning the full diploma, as well as additional credit for each subject area. So my son graduated from Kennewick High School in 2019 and earned the full diploma from IB, and is at WSU. He got 26 credits from WSU. Think about what a freshman would get in a year at WCB, 30 credits, so almost a full year of school in terms of credits. We also offer for our students certificates. So this is a little more closely aligned with what AP offers, which students don't have to take the full diploma program. They can select a few IB courses and test in those. So if a student is a little hesitant in math or in science, but really feels confident in social studies and in English language arts, they can choose to test in just those 2 areas. Colleges will also award credit for certificates just based on a single or a limited number of exams. Unlike AP, and this is kind of where they're a little different, IB requires that students complete an entire course before they're eligible to take the exam. And IP, even though the IP classes are very beneficial in preparing kids and the experience is really beneficial for students for college prep, a student can just take the AP exam if they want to. And we do have some students that take the IB program and also take some AP exams. Next slide, please. So what does the curriculum contain? So there are 6 categories and we offer courses, multiple courses in each of those categories. So language A for us, that's your primary language. So in the United States, it's English, but if we were an IB school in France, then language A would be French. Language B is the second language. We offer 5th year Spanish. So students who take Spanish starting in 8th grade in the Kennewick School District continue to take Spanish or can up through their senior year for 5 years. We also offer French. Science, we offer a broad offering of IB science courses. We offer the arts, math, and or computer science. And then IB calls social studies, individuals, and societies. And so there are, well, take the next slide and sorry, can you go back one? My bad. So just a couple of just very, very quick descriptions of the 2. If you're a full IB student, you will take 6 exams and you will have completed 6 courses of study, 3 of which have to be higher level. So a higher level course in IB requires that you take a subject for 2 years. So a real popular thing for us, for our students, is to take the Individuals and Societies exam, and they'll take 2 years of IB history in our social studies department. There is the option for students to do what's called standard level. So a full IB student will take 3 higher level exams or courses of study and 3 standard level. The standard level is really a 1-year course of study. And any of our students can take an HL or an SL. Recently, universities have been much more generous about giving college credit to the standard level courses. They're a little bit more accessible, but the higher level courses traditionally have given more college credit. That's not always true anymore, thanks to some progressive thinking from the state in requiring universities to really recognize the hard work of our IB and AP kids. So they're getting more college credit now through these programs than ever before. All right, now we can go to the next slide. So for a full IB student, you get to complete 3 core areas to be eligible for the diploma. We call our students candidates because they don't actually know if they've gotten the diploma until July after they've graduated. They will still have graduated from high school, but the IB diploma success or results don't come till later. But if you're a full IB diploma candidate, you need to write a 4,000 word essay. It's really a research project where they are assigned to a mentor teacher, and they have to write the essay with one of those 6 areas of curriculum. We've actually had some students write their 4,000 word essay on a math topic. really hard to do. But if you think about the application, we had a really good tennis player that used math to try and explain the optimum scoring angles in tennis with velocity and all that stuff. It was really challenging, but I know she learned a lot. Students also have to take the Theory of Knowledge class. We call it TOK. It's essentially a course that helps students understand that there are different perspectives that contribute to how we know things. So there's political and there's religious and there's scientific. And so it really is a human perspective on learning and knowledge. It's a really interesting class. And then finally, IB students are required to participate what we call the CAS, Community Action and Service. This basically assures that our students are not just bookworms, that they actually are well-rounded individuals. One of the great things about Kennewick High is that our programs, athletic programs, are really accessible and inviting. So it's an easy place for students to participate in the CAS. But being in band, playing a sport, volunteering, those things are all part of the IB experience for students. All right, next slide, please. So quickly, let's talk on some of the results. The University of Wisconsin did a study on the impact of IB for high school students. And what they learned is that IB students, when they go to a four-year university, do really well at completing classes and finishing with a degree on time. Those that take a little longer do so, but are pursuing double majors in really challenging fields of study like engineering, computer science, and those things. We get a lot of anecdotal feedback from students where they tell us, I was really prepared for my freshman year in college. So that's a real bonus. I know the dual credits while you're here. I'm going to tell you that I'm confident that if your kid does IB, they will do well at a four-year university. And that's, I think, the best thing for them. All right, next slide, please. Yep, more. There we go. So finally, one thing that does attract some IB students, because there are plenty of students who go to IB that don't live in the Kennewick High School boundaries, and students can transfer here before their junior year to be IB students. But it is a good path if your student is interested in pursuing some of the more competitive universities to get into. We've had students get into Harvard and Stanford and the military academies and those things. Not that they don't do that at AP schools, but IB does seem to have a slight edge in terms of getting some kids into those places when it's super competitive. Anyways, that's it for my presentation. And like I said, if you have questions, you can get to us on our website or just give me a call or send me an email and I can get you in contact with our IB coordinator.
Thank you, Mr. King. Next up is Chris Chelland, the principal at Kamiakin High School, and he'll be talking about the advanced placement programs that we have. And those programs are at both Southridge and Kamiakin High School.
So you're not seeing double. My name is Chris Chelland. I have the honor of being Kamiakin High School's principal. I'm not Ron King. You can tell the difference because I'm wearing a red shirt and he was wearing a black shirt, but our haircuts are very similar. Our messages are also very similar in terms of the values that our schools have. He just concluded by talking about the academic benefits of what you do in high school, preparing you for college. Harvard University says that one of the best indicators of academic success is AP examinations. Lots of other colleges all point to the same value that taking rigorous classes in high school bring. And then not just sitting in the rigorous classes and being exposed to the daily curriculum, but sitting for the end of course exams at the end of the AP class. Go ahead and go next slide. Specifically, BYU speaks to the value of both AP and IB classes. And they point out that the reason why that value is there is because there's a standardized assessment at the end of it, rather than having instructor variability, which is what you'll get in both college and the high school and Running Start. The presence of that standardized exam allows for a higher validity to post-secondary performance. Next slide. AP credits are universally accepted. When you take your end of course assessment in the spring, if you score a 3 or higher, you get college placement and college credits for those scores. Currently at Kamiakin High School, we have 604 students registered for AP exams for this spring. Traditionally, about of that 604, they'll earn just over 1,200 college credits per year. Obviously, students who are taking these courses have higher GPAs because they're the kids who are sharpening themselves by challenging themselves to take the hardest classes possible. There is no basement though. Any kid can choose in to any AP class. We offer more than 20 different AP classes, so you can take classes on a strength-based approach. We offer AP classes in everything from Spanish, so native Spanish speakers have a huge advantage there, all the way through chemistry, economics, psychology, pretty much any smorgasbord of classes you want, we can match you to a college level assessment. Next slide. Not only do kids who take AP classes get into college, they also finish college in 4 years or less. Much like Mr. King, I too have a college level student who, as I write that tuition check every year, hope that he finishes in 4 years. The presence of AP classes, 2 or more AP classes, has a 61% likelihood of student to earn their BA in 4 years or less. Next slide. Again, some of the AP classes that are offered both at Southridge and at Kamiakin both start the freshman year with AP Human Geography. That's the entry level class, gives kids that first glimpse of what a college level class is, but still surrounding them with all the supports that we have in place at our large comprehensive high schools. And then after that, it's kind of a track program. You can take it in chemistry, biology, environmental science, any of the sciences, English, Lang, or Lit. Calculus, AB, BC, and stats are our math ones. And then a host of social studies classes, US history, government psychology. And then we have some super classes where we're paired with CTE in economics, computer science. So again, a wide variety of classes. One of the difference between IB and AP, in AP, you can pick and choose any one of those classes and take the assessment in the spring to get those college credits. Next slide. That test in the spring is one that we're very fortunate in Kennewick School District. Through a partnership with both Gear Up and the school district, we've been able to offer the test kind of risk-free for all students, the first test, at no cost. So students get to take that college level assessment without any risk to you. My daughter, who's a senior this year, has taken advantage of that all 3 years she's been here. And then this year she's taking 4 AP classes. But again, it's the college level multiple choice test, the understanding of content rather than having just to memorize facts, regurgitate, that gives these kids an advantage for their post-secondary. Next slide. So top 10 reasons, kind of old school David Letterman. Some colleges offer weighted GPAs. High schools do not. An A in an AP class counts the same as an A in another class. But if you're looking at like at a Whitworth or George Fox, Grand Canyon University, the presence of AP gives a academic bonus. So instead of an A grade being worth a 4.0, an A becomes worth a 4.2. And that can affect both admissions and internal scholarships. AP classes challenge you, kind of like iron sharpens iron. You're around kids who are similarly motivated and they motivate you. You can earn college credit, you become confident. AP credits are really cheap in the big picture. AP tests are about $84 after your first test. So you can get those 5 college credits for only $84. Develops critical thinking and it prepares you for more rigor in college, and AP classes are fun. Next slide. Oops.
Well, the next.
Now I'd like to introduce Molly Hammaker-Teals, who does not have the team haircut that both Mr. Cohen and myself have.
I'm sure she
I feel very
appreciates.
fortunate. Thank you, Jack. So college in the high school is exactly what it sounds like. It is experiencing that college credit and everything in the classroom at the high school. The teachers are selected. They need to be approved by the institution awarding the credit. So it can't just be any teacher. They do need to put forth an application and get approved. The college courses do cost. Typically, they are $65 a credit. And that is what the University of Washington charges for the few classes that we have. The other ones are $35, and that's through Central Washington. That is a unique agreement that Central Washington has with the Kennewick School District. So that is a great benefit. Those classes through Central Washington are 5 credit classes. $175 is what those cost. Another thing that you get with the college and the high school courses is you kind of get additional credit. So one of the courses that we offer college and the high school with is AP Environmental Science. So a student who is taking the AP Environmental Science would finish the first semester with 0.5 high school credits, where the student who is taking it for the college and the high school course, the Environmental Studies 201, would actually be earning a 1.0 for first semester. Next slide. Some of the things that come up are credit transferability, and we have heard a little bit about that. There is agreement within Washington State to accept these credits. However, they really are also accepted outside of Washington State as well. These schools are recognized. It really does, though, depend upon the institution who is receiving the credit to make that decision upon what those credits are. Now, it could be a social studies credit that is earned, and maybe that is how it is translated at one school and might be translated differently at another. So those are just kind of things to be aware of. Another thing is we do offer a lot of our college and the high school courses along with our AP. They are kind of hand in hand. So we do have some students who are debating, well, do I take this as an AP class or do I do this as a college and a high school? And some even choose to do both, meaning they get the college and the high school credit, and they also decide to sit for the exam. Again, it is a choice. It might be you take the exam as a backup. It might also be that your student isn't a great test taker. And so maybe earning the college credit is the better way of going about that instead of taking the exam and hoping to get a score. So just things to consider, but those options are always available. Next slide, please. Here, just a sampling of the courses that we offer. So I'll go ahead and let you look. Again, I described that the courses are 5 credits across. We can go ahead and move to the next one. So one of the questions that typically comes up is, what is the difference between college and the high school and Running Start? With there being a lot of options for the college and the high school classes, that really does come into play of should I leave or should I stay? And really location is the top question. Some students are really much more successful in being in their high school and staying in that environment, staying with their peers and their friends, staying closer to the activities that are happening, and that brings them enjoyment and fulfillment. Whereas other students really thrive being on the college campuses. So looking at that really is a play on who your student is. The other one is eligible grade levels. So for college and the high school, you can start taking those courses as a 10th grader in addition to the 11 and 12, where if you are Running Start, you can only start that program as a junior in your 11th grade. Cost is the other factor. Running Start is a free program where the college and the high school classes do cost, but really in the big picture of what it costs to go to college, it is far cheaper even for a single credit to earn those 5. Next slide. Yep, and I think we are handing this back to Ron King.
Yes, we are. We're listening to Ron a second time. I just got a text from somebody that says, you know what? That Ron King is so easy to listen to. So I will now introduce easy listening Ron King. He's going to talk a little bit about the Running Start program that's offered in the Tri-Cities.
So Jack, you might have wanted to reserve that till I finish this part of the presentation before you said that. So anyways, I'll try to make you look good. Thanks, Jack. All right, so we're going to talk about Running Start. And I guess before I read the slides, I guess the biggest thing to consider is we've kind of had a progression of high school classes and ways to earn college credit. And maybe the big distinction we want to make with Running Start is that Running Start really is college. It's not college prep. There's some dual credit opportunities so that they get high school credit for what they do in college versus college credit for what they do in high school. So anyways, Running Start is a program that allows academically eligible high school juniors and seniors the opportunity to attend college while fulfilling high school graduation requirements. So like most Running Start programs in our state, students most widely access the local community college to do that. So for us, it's Columbia Basin Community College. We also have the luxury of having WSU Tri-Cities, and some students choose to do that. There are some differences between the two. I'll touch on them lightly, but if you are interested in Running Start and you want to know the difference between WSU Tri-Cities and CBC, you really want to talk to your counselor. And when it comes to Running Start, your student's high school counselor is a top resource to talk about this. They're really the experts on this. Students in Running Start may attend college on a part-time basis and also continue taking classes at their high school. It's a blend they can do, or they can attend college as a full-time student. Next slide, please. So Running Start students can, here's some benefits, earn an AA degree or a transfer degree to any of the other state colleges and universities in the state of Washington. Can also earn some credits that you can apply towards degrees in other colleges and universities in our state. Another advantage is that they might have a broader offering of courses they do that may not be accessible to students in their own high school. So they might be able to pursue some things they're interested in. And obviously it's a more independent learning environment. Some kids are just really not into the high school scene and vibe, and they really thrive as juniors and seniors in Running Start, and some like to do both, and some want to stay in high school. So a lot of choices to make. Next slide, please. So how Running Start works. Students work with their high school counselor. I'm going to say it again. The high school counselor is the expert to register and select courses that will allow them to earn their high school diploma. Tuition at the college then is paid for by the school district, but students are responsible for paying quarterly fees and also purchasing textbooks and supplies, and that can cost some money. Students who are in free and reduced meals with us in the Kimball School District are eligible for some waivers for some of the fees, but there's still some cost that they're going to have to take on as families. Next slide, please. So some important things to consider. Students are responsible for their own transportation. So the high schools, we do not provide a bus to CBC or to WSU Tri-Cities, so reliable transportation. The good thing about Kimball is we have the transfer station, and you can take the Ben Franklin Transit from Kimball to CBC, but it's the schedule, it's challenging to do that. Another thing to remember, and this is really important, is that Running Start students are treated as regular college students by that college. And the colleges do not report attendance and academic struggles to parents or to their home high school. So they're treated like a 22-year-old college student, a 17-year-old Running Start student gets the same treatment from the college. So parents, you might want to be aware of that. And the student can decide to allow parents to have access to their college information. I think it's done online now, but there's a release of information process that the student has to complete. So parents, if you're listening tonight and this is something you're considering, maybe one of the conditions for allowing your student to do Running Start is that you make sure that the student agrees to giving you access to their information. So just a suggestion, but it's a strong one. All right, next slide, please. So how's eligibility determined? So CBC has made it even more accessible for students to go. So in April, they offer placement tests in reading, writing, and math. And students, I believe the new standard is they just need to meet minimum proficiency in one of those three areas to be able to access all Running Start classes. So that's something new for us. So you might want to have a good talk with the counselor and your student. If they're really not good in math and they did well on the writing, and the community college allows them to take college level math classes, they might want to look at the blended approach where they take certain classes at CBC and maybe take their math class at their home high school. Anyways, there's lots of combinations we can work with to make it work for our students. WSU Tri-Cities It may not be the case professor by professor, instructor by instructor, but overall, I think the first year at WSU Tri-Cities might be a little bit more rigorous than the first year at CBC. So WSU Tri-Cities will look at a transcript and GPA. They'll look at a PSAT score, which is coming up here in a couple of weeks for us. SAT, ACT scores, anything they can do to get a profile to see the college readiness of that student. And then they'll give the kid placement exams too. So it's just something that there's still, we don't have as many kids that do WSU Tri-Cities for Running Start, but they're a little bit more concerned about some areas. There's also some things to remember. There are limits to how many courses a Running Start student can take in combination with their home high school. So one thing that's popular with kids is to do Running Start, but also be involved in our band program. And so if they don't take the right combination of courses, they may not be eligible to take a class at CBC and or take their class at their home high school. So again, the high school counselor, they're the experts in making sure that they don't exceed their allotment of courses. I guess the way around that is there is a fee you could pay as parents to allow them to take more, but the free part of Running Start is capped out at so many classes per term. Next slide, please. So some considerations. So this is really for parents, but students that are listening tonight, you should also be reflecting this on your own, because this is your education. Is a student responsible enough to learn with minimum supervision? So we are in an extreme time of independent learning with remote, and some kids have really thrived in this environment and some have not. Realize that the remote learning is a little bit closer to college, which is students are responsible for getting work done on their own more often. That is true with Running Start. Another thing to consider, does the student plan to attend a four-year university? Running Start credits are accepted by other state colleges and universities, but private schools and out-of-state schools are not required to take those same community college credits. We've had some interest in Stanford from some of our students. Stanford will say that they take Running Start or take those kind of credits. They really do not like them. And quite often the advice is don't pursue Running Start if you're trying to get into Stanford, and pursue an AP or an IB instead. Doesn't mean that you can't have a great four-year education by combining community college and a four-year school. But if you've got some specific universities in mind that are not Washington State public universities, you might inquire with their admissions office, or again, talk to your counselor. And then of course, there's financial reasons for taking advantage of free college tuition. I mean, who doesn't like free, right? And it is free. So that's one way for people, if you feel that the time is right for college, to save some money. All right, next slide, please. So another consideration, AP and IB classes also offer college credit and are designed to prepare students for advanced college courses of study. And that's one thing. I want to be sensitive to this one, because there is not a one size fits all. So I think if anything from tonight you take away, there's lots of options and you just kind of pick the option that works for you. But there are some advanced degrees like engineering, computer science, that are pretty intense from the get-go for students when they go to the four-year school. And so sometimes going to Running Start may not be the best prep for that. It just depends on your student again. And another thing to remember is that it's common for us to learn that some high school kids discover, and their parents discover, that they're not quite yet prepared to be college students. And we often learn that in the form of failing grades and poor attendance. We want all of our kids to be successful, but we don't know how they're doing in Running Start until after we get report cards. So ultimately, the last thing I have to say about it is that parents and students really need to decide if this is the right time to start college or to wait. And so anyways, look forward to questions that we might get about this. But again, who am I going to refer you to for Running Start? Your high school counselor, the pro.
Well, thank you, Mr. King. And I guess as a parent, a grandparent now, can a student earn both a high school diploma and an AA degree at the same time?
Yes, they can. So that's an important thing. Our counselors will make sure that they're getting all their high school requirements for graduation met while they're doing Running Start.
Thank you. So at this time, hopefully you've had an opportunity to type in your questions in the chat feature on the Zoom. And I'd like to introduce Ms. Robin Chastain, who will read some of those questions, and the administrator that was in charge of doing the presentation will help answer those questions. Or if you have specific questions for a specific administrator, you can direct those to those administrators also. So Ms. Chastain, do you have any questions for us?
Yes, I do. I think this one's for Mr. Randall from TriTech Skills Center. So for TriTech, is this primarily for seniors, or can a student who is a junior enroll in the junior or senior year? And in this particular instance, their son wants to pursue the firefighting program, and he's already completed the summer program.
Thanks for the question. Yes, TriTech, the regular school year program, is for juniors and seniors. Since this young man is already taking the summer program, he has a very good understanding what the requirements are in firefighting. And as a junior, he can apply, become a first-year student. And then the second year is a competitive placement where they interview with do an oral board with local firefighters. They go through a rigorous application process to make sure that, yes, this is that second year of time that they're going to commit in their high school career for firefighting. So it's open to both juniors and seniors. You mentioned summer school. TriTech offers a summer program to incoming ninth graders. It's a great way to test different programs, different career paths, kind of get their feet wet a little bit. And they can do four different programs over the course of the 4 summers. So thanks.
Great, thank you. And then this is a CTE dual credit question. I have a student who took a CTE dual credit class last year and is currently enrolled in one this year. Is it too late to get signed up for the college credit part? We were not aware of this option.
Thank you, Robin. I'll go ahead and answer that question. So for the student, for last year courses, it is too late because the courses need to be submitted by May, or the student needs to enroll in the college course by May. But for this year, it's not too late. And so I suggest that the student contact their teacher in the course that they're taking and find out, a timeline and when that needs to be done. This has been an unusual year. So timelines some of them have been postponed, but the student has to earn a B or better. So this is good information for the student to know, but they should contact their teacher. And also if they're interested in other courses or interested in other opportunities for additional credit, as Ron King mentioned earlier, they should go to their high school counselor to get more information. They'll have the most current information, and the high school counselors are always reaching out to us for more opportunities for students. So they're really on top of it, and they really want to help the kids. And so I would suggest them going to their teacher first if they're enrolled in a class that offers dual credit, and also to go on to their counselors to find out more opportunities.
Thank you. This is a college and the high school question. If a student earns 1.0 credit each semester for their college and the high school English course in their junior year, would this mean that they do not have to take English their senior year?
Ooh, nice question. And technically that would be true. They would have earned what is required, and that is 4 years of English. Now, would I recommend you not taking English your senior year? No. But there may be some other courses that student is pursuing. And maybe it is more of a math and science that they want to take. And so it would be possible, and they would meet the graduation requirements.
Okay, the next question. Mr. Randall, how much does it cost to attend TriTech and earn college credit?
So TriTech is absolutely free. That's one of the best deals out there. During the high school time, if you attend a skill center in the state of Washington, you can tap into those college credits for no cost. And then the second part of the question, Robin?
And how much do the college credits cost? There's no college
There,
credit.
no fees whatsoever.
Oh, no fees. Okay. How do you get enrolled into an AP class?
So it is open enrollment in all AP classes. Matter of fact, when students take the PSAT next Tuesday, we'll get an AP indicator and use that to recruit kids to get into them. But our goal is that all kids take the highest level of rigor of class that they can, including honors and AP classes. So there is no ceiling limit. We'd like all kids, our goal is to have all kids take one or more AP classes during their time in high school.
Well, this question kind of piggybacks on that one. How hard are the AP classes?
So one of our most common questions is it better to take an AP class or is it better to get an A in a regular class? And we asked that question to the University of Washington, and they, in typical UW fashion, said, well, it's better to get an A in the AP class. So the classes are hard, but we have a lot of systems of support in place, including academic coaching, extra professional development and opportunities, so that kids who work hard develop that lifelong habit of self-advocacy and work ethic are very, very successful in the AP classes.
So Mr. Chillin, if you have your eyes set on AP classes, what would you take as a freshman?
English 1-2 for English, the hardest math class. So whatever math you took in 8th grade, if you took geometry, it'd be algebra 3-4. If you took algebra, if you took geometry, it'd be algebra 3-4. If you took algebra, it'd be geometry. AP human geography. Then depending on your science, it could either be honors biology or honors chemistry. And then colleges want multiple years of a world language. So probably if you took Spanish in grade 8, it would be honors Spanish 3-4. And then that 6th class would be open for any elective that you chose. But the entryway class for freshmen is AP human geography.
Great, thank you. This is another TriTech question. Can a student attend TriTech and Running Start at the same time?
Yes, they can. Every year we have students who do both. It does take some scheduling coordination with the CBC coursework and TriTech, but it happens every year, and students can really double up and make some traction when they do so.
The next question is, what if my high school does not offer the college in the high school class, but I want to take, but another Kennewick high school does?
So actually that would be true in any class. If you are at a high school and they don't offer a course that you want to take, you can always go over and take that other course at the high school who offers it. So always an option, whether it's a college in the high school course or not.
And some examples of those would be American Sign Language and junior ROTC and college and the high school. Yes, they have to provide their own transportation and they've got to work it out. So they've got travel time built in there so they don't have to leave the previous class early or attend their next class late.
The next question is, my student is signed up for honors chemistry and honors pre-calculus as a 9th grader. Can she earn college in the high school credit?
Ooh, unfortunately, no, because the college and the high school and even the Running Start is only offered to the upper level. So college and the high school is offered at the 10th grade, but unfortunately not at the 9th grade. So for that student, the honors chemistry wouldn't be an option. But moving into the next years, there are other science classes that are our college and the high school equivalents that would get that college and the high school credit. And same with the math. If it was honors pre-calc, then the following year, there would be the calculus class that offers college and high school credit, and it could start being earned there. But unfortunately, no, not for our 9th graders.
Okay, thank you. And then Are TriTech classes on a first come, first served basis, or can a counselor help get a placement into those classes?
So TriTech is not first come, first serve. And so your counselor is imperative in the process, not only to help you pick the right program, but also help navigate the application system. You will pre-register for your TriTech course online. It becomes live this year, January 22nd, so at the end of the week at 7 in the morning, but that's a pre-registration. And so you work through that online application process, then with your counselor, and there's a fairly sophisticated process to make sure that since TriTech serves 8 different school districts, that there's equitable access to the programs for all the students. Because these are competitive programs and very desirable. And so we want to make sure that students get that equitable access. So your counselor is key in that process because they know your student best. And make sure you talk to them early and often about the process.
Great, thank you, Mr. Randall. The next question is for Mr. King. We do not live in the Kennewick High boundary, but we want our student to participate in the International Baccalaureate program. What do we need to do?
So that's an easy one. So parent needs to complete an in-district transfer form or out-of-district transfer form if you don't live in the Kennewick School District. We have a lot of our students who come from outside of our boundary to participate in IB. So it's a common thing. There's a place on the form for the reason for the transfer request, and you just put down wants to participate in the IB program.
And if
Could I
somebody's
add,
oh, sorry.
Robin, could I just please add to something? Those in-district transfer forms are due to the K-12 office by January 29th. So next week, next Friday, the 29th, not this Friday coming up, but there is a timeline to get those transfer requests in. I'm sorry, Robin.
Oh, it's okay. And Mr. King, if somebody wants to find out more in-depth information about the International Baccalaureate program, how do they do that?
Easy. Get a hold of me at ronking.ksd.org. Or our website, the Kennewick High School website, has an easy click to get a hold of our IB coordinator and get some information about IB. So we're pretty easy to get a hold of. And if I don't have the answers, I know who can get them for you. So don't hesitate to contact us.
Great. And Mr. Anderson, I think that is all the questions that we have for now.
Well, thank you very much.
Wait, I'm going to take that back. We have one more.
Okay.
What is the advantage of a student taking a college course in high school that is also an AP class? Are they able to earn additional college credit for that class?
So they wouldn't be able to earn additional college credit. And I think if I'm going to answer what the question is, the person is asking is, you can't then go to a college and say, here is my college and the high school credit, and here's my AP score, and have them count it twice. So that isn't what's happening. The advantage of taking a college and the high school class, most of them are AP. Not all of our college and high school classes are AP.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Hammerkatiels. I'd like to also thank, Mr. Randall, Mrs. Anderson, Ms. Madsen, Mr. King, Mr. Chillen. Thank you all for taking the time tonight to present ways that kids can get credit in high school and the programs that you offer. I hope that parents, students, you found this informative and valuable. I had mentioned that today's presentation is part of Getting to Know Kennewick Schools. This was the 4th presentation that we've done this year. We're doing one every month. Our next presentation, which will be the 5th one, is the dual language opportunities in the Kennewick School District. So if you are thinking about or know someone that has children that are ready to start school. You're interested in the dual language program. I know I've got all my own grandchildren in the dual language program, and they're biliterate and bilingual. So our next Getting to Know Kennewick Schools, the dual language opportunities, is going to be held February 16th from 6:30 to 7:30. So with that, thank you all very much and have a great evening.